Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast, episode 817. I'm your host, Cyril Gerald Quinn, on this Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. Again, similar to last Wednesday, this podcast was not planned, was not
Nope.
regularly scheduled, but the NFL has invoked its own version of March Madness with what's transpired
What's the
in the
partner?
last couple of weeks. We thought we were gonna get at least a week off or a couple of days off, but selection
Nope.
Sunday, Kevin Garnett retirement ceremony. Tom Brady was like, "Nah, just move right along over." And of course, yeah. I mean, what are my manners here? I'm joined to discuss this, of course, with one Rob Sapp. How you doing, Mr. How you doing this evening, Mr. Sapp?
So for historical purposes, it is 7:36 p.m. on Wednesday, March, what is it, 16th,
16th, yeah, 16th.
2022.
Yep.
And I could not be in a better mood. As I was saying to you, after a very long day, I couldn't be in a better mood. Let's go.
So we're gonna
Great
get
to
to
be here. Great.
we'll get to why we'll get to why Mr. Sapp is in a great mood.
Yep.
As we NFL free agency is in full gear. But we're gonna begin with one Tom Brady, who decided after 40 days that he was not about this retirement life anymore. He comes back to Tampa Bay, announces it via Twitter, or it was via Twitter, Instagram, maybe it may have been both, but whatever, over social media. He was in London, chopping it up with Cristiano Ronaldo. So he comes back. No one was. I mean, I didn't see anybody react like this is just shocking. I was surprised, to be honest with you. And he comes back with Tampa Bay. Now there are a lot of things that come out, where not some things that I'm sure that you'll talk about. Basically Tampa Bay, in essence, somewhat may have called his bluff that he probably wanted that, thoughts that he may want to be with the 49ers, but he was under contract and Tampa Bay was not going to bend, nor should they have. But the bottom line is he's back. And I think that I'll say this. I was more than ready to put the Tom Brady era behind me as far as just as an NFL fan and despite he's the GOAT, what have you. Very like I had moved my mind past Tom Brady being quarterbacking. Like NFL is in a great place right now as far as young quarterbacks up and coming. We've seen kind of that old guard, Peyton Manning's and those guys, Brett Favre, and all those guys. Most of those guys, Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, move along. So I had like Brady retiring was like, all right, cool. But coming back, and I listen, you can't knock Tom Brady coming back. Clearly the NFL is better for the NFL, more that gives an extra good team in the NFL. They'll get 5 or 6 primetime games and great matchups and what have you. But Tom Brady is, he's 2022. And what I mean by that is he's attention. He wants the attention. Let's be fair about that. He wants the attention. He's producing a movie where he's going to be starring in terms of a documentary. We've seen him over the past 5 years with the Time versus Time on Facebook, with the man in the arena and what have you. So Tom is this is who Tom is right now. He wants the attention. He doesn't mind a spotlight or two. And this was not, again, I'm not saying he should give a shit about Kevin Garnett or the selection Sunday, but this knew what he was doing with in terms of the time, and he did not mind that he put the likes of Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers on the back burner to have his day in the sun. And I also, again, to me, I said this to you. I also think it was a matter of he did not want he wanted to kind of like direct his own narrative and steer his own narrative as far as, yeah, I'll retire when I want to retire, not when the media reports it and what have you. So he's back. Um, they already, you got the center back Ryan Jensen. Uh, so he's trying to recruit some guys right now. I expect Gronkowski to come back to Tampa. That's more likely going to happen. So they'll be right there as far as a Super Bowl contender and what have you. What were your thoughts when you heard this, and what are your thoughts now, 36 hours later?
Yeah. So like, I mean, like when I initially heard it, it was shocked and stunned and all that. You got my raw reaction. But of course, like I've had time to think about it and process it and make it into something that makes sense. And what really crystallized it, I can't remember what show I was listening to, but they played an older interview, a much younger Tom Brady. They were talking about, I think the question was, what makes you afraid? I don't know if this is played nationally at night, because I haven't really been listening to national at all. But the way that he answered it, he said, when he answered the question, what makes him afraid, he said, not playing football anymore, like not having the routine and the rigors and everything like that, and not having 80,000 people cheer your name. He went through that, but it was the way that he said it. Like you could tell the literal anxiety, and that I would have said was 5 years ago, if not more. He gave that interview. So I say that to say, when I settled down on everything, the thing that makes me laugh in my head is that he spent 2 months with his family and said, "Nope, I'm good. I'm never doing this again." Your first point that you made to me that very night has continued to ring true that night, and continues to ring true when you say he has to control his narrative. You're 1,000% correct on that. He has to control that narrative when he does say. But I think then the third thing the reason why I brought it, that first one, was also control the narrative. I did believe before this that Tom Brady would retire before he went out on his shield. I no longer believe that. I think Tom Brady retires when the NFL retires him. I think that was the last kind of graceful retirement moment. Maybe if he wins another Super Bowl, that's the ending, and maybe he reflects and says, maybe I should have went out that way. Maybe if he wins another chip, maybe that will be the thing that where he'll do a drop the mic moment then, but only then. Other than that, I think this is a man that has no plan B. Plan A is play football till I get carried off of that field. And I think that's what this is solidified more than anything for me. Like, oh, Tom Brady's never going away till somebody puts him away. So it's going to be on a player NFL team to retire him, or his play retire him consistently over time. So I don't think I say that to say, I don't think we're looking at a graceful end for Tom Brady, unless he wins another chip, which we'll discuss. But
and I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I don't think that will retire him. I think if he's playing at a high level, at a Pro Bowl, All Pro type level, I don't think, because how many chips can you have? He's won 7
No,
chips.
I agree.
I
agree. That's why I say maybe, but that's just, I honestly think this solidified. Tom Brady wants to be carried off that field.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. All right, like so here's the thing, and he's in the majority. That's the majority of athletes that have ever played in any sport. You have to literally like the guys who have walked away near at the top, or
we were giving him more credit because we were like, he's Tom Brady. Maybe he's got something figured out that no, but you're 1,000%. I mean, look at the list of boxers. Just go.
Yeah.
Look at them.
I'm just gonna stick to NFL players.
Sure.
We be here all night with just athletes in general, but just NFL players, like you got to carry these motherfuckers off the field, or they just gotta not get a call back from a team, or
I'll never forget the last play Jim Kelly had. I'll never forget it. It just is a fact. You're right. It's just a fact. It's just a fact of life.
There have been
It
two
is the
guys.
oddball that doesn't go out that way.
There have been two guys, two notable guys that I can think of in the history of the sport, all-time greats. Barry Sanders and Jim Brown. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Now, yeah, there have been some lesser guys that have went out, but I'm talking about in terms of great all-time great players.
And in both of those cases, there were extenuating circumstances,
yes,
right?
very
Yep.
extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, Barry Sanders, the franchise retired him basically. He's just, I just literally can't play here anymore.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
And like we already said with Jim Brown, you know, it was he could make more money doing something else. Period.
Yep.
At that time.
Yeah.
Football was not the highest paying thing. It just wasn't.
No.
So it's tough. What you're basically saying is it is tough as an athlete to have the forethought to be like, I should stop playing now because I don't want to whatever the thing in the future. They're just not wired that way, and they shouldn't be. That's what makes them do this. They're just not wired that way.
And you know, you talk about the family thing, like it's always
so
much time you can spend with your family.
It's an easy joke. It's low hanging fruit, but it just makes me laugh. It does.
It's hilarious, especially football. Football, you playing. Think about it. You know, other sports like baseball, basketball, you're traveling all the time. There are 82 games, 162 games in baseball. Football, you're playing only one game a week. So even when you're traveling, you don't leave till what, like Thursday or Friday to go to respect the other city, and that's it. Like it's not, and it's only what is from.
I don't know, Ril. I think of all the practice time and everything like that. I think you would ask any football player, and they would say they probably see their family never. Because think about it, by the time they're getting up and coming back, everybody's going to sleep or still asleep. So even though, yeah, you might be in the same place, you don't see them. So I can't like I respect how hard they work. I really do.
No. This not have nothing to do with the work. I'm not talking about
spending time is not necessary. Just because you're in the same city doesn't mean you're spending time with your family.
But I'm saying, though, compared to other sports, like
kind of, I don't even think I don't think that's a fair comparison. I think the hours that you put in at the practice facility, football, weightlifting, training, everything like that, I don't think you're factoring that in right now. I think ultimately to say, I just don't think you even need to piece and parcels out. Professional athletes don't get to spend any time with their family. That's the sacrifice. That is.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it.
Sacrifice. It's the absolute sacrifice. It is. Now, he has a pretty good family life comparatively. Not even talking about his own money, the family structure, and still he's like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. It's not like he's gonna go home when there are 17 kids climbing all over his head.
No.
They got a pretty good infrastructure. And still, he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, but even with that, I still never bought the family thing. I just never did. Like
I
just think all these things in terms of spending time. The part of it I bought. Here's the part of it that I did buy. I did buy his wife being concerned about his concussions. That part I did. But as far
to go into that even further, I was like, why is this new news? Why is this now suddenly impacting? We've been hearing that for years.
Right.
She's never liked it. So what made this time different? The only thing that made it different to me initially when I was listening was because he was bringing it up. I was like, why is he bringing this up? That's the only thing that made it different to me. But yeah, to your point, I didn't understand why it was being brought up.
So
never cared about that before.
Let me get back to let me get back to an original question from a standpoint of if you're gonna come back after 40 days, why the hell you retire in the first place?
Exactly.
So, because and I so his father comes out. His father, we know how close he is to his father. His father, a lot of times, it is his mouthpiece. Let's be honest. Like his father will say something, and that's what Tom Brady's thinking. In a lot of ways. So his father basically comes out this week and says, "Hey, you know, the media kind of pushed him into retirement with the reporting and what have you, and da 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 da." I don't have no problem with him defending his son. That's his son, but his father, from that standpoint, is full of shit. Like no one can force you to retire. He could have came out easily after the season and said, "Look, I'm gonna take some time and then make a decision. I'm not announcing anything. I will pay my respects to Tampa Bay in regards to their timetable." And like he did, he came back, went around free agency, and so he came back before they free agents started, basically, so they could sign some guys. But he didn't have to fucking retire. Like what are we talking about here? He's like, you're Tom Brady, like, or any athlete. You don't have, like, no one, unless nobody wants you anymore. From that standpoint, you didn't have to retire. I have a little theory I just thought of. Do you think he wasn't happy about that he didn't get his flowers? Is part of the reason why he's coming back? Is he trying? Does he want to milk this, getting his flowers
Nah,
until he
the real.
actually
Don't. I
retires?
don't think. Don't make this. This one though. You don't even have to go that deep. We already broke this down. He's. It's just that simple. We don't even have to go to. There's no anything. To your point, to your point, is why did he retire in the first place? That would be the question for somebody to track down. Why did he retire in the first place? If you ask me, quite simply, it's what you're supposed to do at this time in your life. And I think somebody compared it to just like a general midlife crisis. Like a lot of us are going through in middle age. You're like, oh, half my life is gone. What's going on? Right. So he had that in Tom Brady fashion. So I'll try this retirement thing out for 40 days. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to trying to win championships. So yeah, I don't think there was any depth of thought to this in terms of like me unretiring will be anything else. I think controlling the narrative. I think that definitely. If I focus my anger on anybody, I'm going to focus it on Schefter. Whoever the fuck told Schefter that and did all these things. Because whatever, Brady, whatever. That gets him, I don't even care. Point being, I do agree that is part of that narrative of having him unretire. Why he retired in the first place, I think that was all Brady in his head and his family. Probably why he brought up his family in his ear. You should retire. This is the time to retire. You should retire. This is the time to retire. Because also the other thing I didn't understand was he was consistently on the record. 45 is when he thought he could play to.
Right.
Why retire at 44? That made no sense. When the goal you've been for was 45, why stop a year early? A year earlier, the year you didn't win the championship. None of it was tracking in the terms of making sense. The only thing that made sense was 44-year-olds in the NFL is supposed to retire. You're not supposed to be playing this good at this time in your career. That's the only thing that would potentially make it make sense. But other than that, it did make sense on any level. It did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen. His reasoning for coming back. I mean, that's not even a question why he came back. Like this dude is a
He didn't want
football
to
lifer.
retire. He didn't want to stop playing football.
Yeah, he's a football lifer, but
He didn't want to play.
Like
And now let's do the reverse. Since you're making me do this with this topic, Dave, I'm so excited. Let's reverse engineer this, right? Like, why should he retire?
Why should he retire?
Why should he? Oh. Right? Like we reverse engineer it. Like we're saying he had like, not we. Sorry, excuse me. Let me let me own my dissatisfaction, this decision. I'm saying, why is he coming back? You have everything. You have all the championships, all the records, all the accolades, all the everything, all the money, all of it. You have everything.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I moved it. So he has all those things, money, regulation, all the different things. Then, but on the flip side of that, it's like, but I'm playing great. Why would I retire when I'm playing great? And that's a great question. And nobody could answer that. You should retire. He's playing great.
Right.
Why should he retire? Why? Because I want him to. That's why. I mean, that's the honest answer. Because I don't want him to play anymore because he drives me crazy. But in terms of play on the field, there's literally no reason he should retire.
No.
There's none. And that's what I'm saying. It just became about the age. 44-year-olds should retire. 44-year-olds in the NFL should retire. It's like when me and you get to retirement age, that's just going to be a constant question. Everybody's going to be asking us.
Yep.
No matter how good we feel, how good we are at jobs, people are just going to be like, you're at this point in time in your life. Aren't you thinking about retirement? Aren't you retiring? Aren't you retiring? I'm sure he probably got tired of thinking about that question. But then he retired. It was like, nah, I'm good. Not going to do this. This is the worst. Nobody's cheering my name anywhere I go. As a matter of fact, when I get home, they don't even clap for me. Nope, they don't.
No, they don't.
Family doesn't care what you accomplish.
No, it's something to be said, man, about that spotlight. And when when they're not cheering your name like anymore.
But yeah,
I'm thinking about.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm thinking about. I don't know why I had this thought about Rocky IV when Apollo clearly should have retired.
Yeah.
Right. He clearly was at that. He clearly was past his prime and hadn't fought in 5 years. And what I'm saying, he wants to decide to take the fight with the Russian. And Rocky, before they had a conversation watching their old fight. And Rocky was like, look, you were a great fighter, so on and so on. We don't know about this guy. And, Apollo was just hung up on someone else, not the thought of not having his name cheered and the thought of not him being in the middle of everything, and that he couldn't handle it.
Yeah. And that's why I was going to say traditionally, and that's why I said we do need to flip this because it is unfair. It is unfair because traditionally we associate that with athletes who are past their prime holding on.
Right.
He's not past his prime.
No.
So it's unfair of us to say that to him until he's past his prime and he's just holding on. Like if Peyton Manning would have came back after that season, we would have crushed.
Yeah.
And it would have been deserved.
So.
It would have been deserved. Absolutely. So we have to wait. Please let it be next year for his play to fall off. And then we can start getting on him about that stuff. But he has to beat until his play falls off. He does.
Let me push back a little bit. So I don't want to make it seem like we're being critical of the reporting. The reporters were right.
No, I don't give a damn about the reporting. Nobody's talking about reporting.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't care about the reporting. That has nothing to do with this. No, I'm saying what's not fair is that public opinion says that about him when he's playing great because he's not holding on. He's playing great.
Right.
You're doing the thing you want to do with your life at a high level, at the highest level. Like, why would you tell somebody to stop doing the thing they want to do?
And they love it. No, that's what I mean.
That's why would you say that?
That's insane.
Right. So like that's what I mean by public opinion saying he should retire. That doesn't make sense. He's playing great. No. The only thing that makes sense is when I say when I'm saying it, I'm telling you, I'm saying it for the fact that I just want him to go away.
You want you for personal reasons.
I just want him to go away. Whatever reason. I don't care. Go away, Tom Brady. Go away. Whatever. Just go away. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll get back to my original point about when he initially retired. I was cool. Like I was cool with like him being retired. Like beyond, I wasn't because I mean the NFL just the NFL just moves right along. Like it's just like it's no that's how it goes. Like that like they're boatload of quarterbacks up and coming, new rivalries, new narratives. Brady's the GOAT, greatest player ever, but the NFL doesn't stop. So I had already was already thinking about Joe Burrow and all these young quarterbacks and this transition to power and what have you. So I had zero problem with him retiring from that standpoint. Like, all right, the NFL, yes, I'm sure Tampa will miss him, and the Brady fanatics will miss him, but yeah, the game will be fine. So Brady's back, and they will we all know that they will be right there amongst one of the top teams in the NFC in the NFL, let alone and particularly the NFC. ESPN's new booth sticking with the NFL. So you have Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Gold Lee Fox for a boatload of money, $165 million between them. Aikman gets 5 for 90. Buck gets 5 for 75. Aikman's deal is comparable to what Tony Romo got in terms of per amount of money per year. Romo, of course, got 10 years for like 180, 175. But I was really thinking about this from a standpoint of, first of all, I mean, where does this leave Fox as far as the number one team? I was looking at some of their broadcast teams. I'm like, yeah, ooh, like they really don't have a number one team right now. They
Nah, they gonna be on that free agent market.
Yo, they don't have
they
they
don't.
don't have a number one.
Nobody else. Nope,
Fox
they
does
ain't
not.
nobody else.
Fox they need to pick up some free agents. They do not have a number one team right now.
They hopefully they have that Manning, Sean Payton booth, something like that in their back pocket somewhere.
But I also thought about it from a standpoint of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. So you leave Fox, you're gonna do the Monday night games. You'll do probably, definitely one playoff game. They'll do some extra games in the regular season as well. But that Fox gig, you were it at Fox. Like you had the 4 o'clock game that everybody was looking at, what the main game, whatever you were on, and then you every 3 to 4 years you would do a Super Bowl. So I know it's a boatload of money. I cannot just excuse the money by any stretch of imagination. But from a job standpoint, like, is it a better job?
Yep. That's a lot of money, bro.
What are your thoughts? No, it's a
shit. A lot of money, bro. I can't Fox, ESPN. There's not enough of a difference between those two. As a matter of fact, ESPN is bought by Disney, which bought most of Fox. So, the only negative in this is the only negative I can see. Those numbers are ridiculous. The only negative I can see, absolutely, you take this money, you don't even think twice about this. That's not even a thing.
Oh yeah, you're taking this money.
It just isn't. It's not even a thing. That we're not even going to go in that direction. But the only negative I see in this is now what happens with Monday Night Football ratings wise is on you, in terms of people will look at you too and blame you too if that doesn't go well. Now, with that being said, this is a major upgrade. That I can't imagine the world where this doesn't go well. This is a major upgrade over anything.
ESPN. Oh yeah, I mean ESPN is a big winner in this. ESPN is definitely.
And then they're big winners. I just don't.
They're one. Aikman and Buck are one ESPN too.
Unless Troy Aikman and Joe Buck phone it in, I don't know what that looks like as a broadcast team. So, Fox L. Yes. Fox L. Everybody else wins. Everybody else wins. Everybody else wins. I honestly didn't think Disney was going to invest this much in Monday Night Football anymore. I didn't think they were going to do that. So this is. Yep. This month guaranteed, Cyril, the Monday night slate is going to be pretty fantastic this year. The ESP, the political behind the scenes weight that Disney has versus Homeboy by himself with Fox Sports and Fox News, not the same. So
I'll be very so to your
no,
point.
the slate's gonna be fantastic.
I'm glad you bring that up because I'll be
the slate.
like,
I mean, optics wise, the slate will be fantastic. Now, what the actual games look like, who knows? But the slate's gonna look fantastic. There's no way we're gonna be seeing Jacksonville, Jets on Monday. No, not this year.
No, but I'll be interested to see what their slate looks like as a comparison to what Sunday night is. Like, will they close that gap as far as the quality of games?
I mean, both games will be good. I think it was starting to trend that way ever since ESPN really started complaining about it a couple years ago, because their schedule was dog-ish, like 3-4 years ago. It was bad.
They had years.
It was so bad. I was like, ooh, yeah, this is Thursday, early Thursday night territory. And so it's been trending that way. I think this shows the investment. Hopefully this makes effing Homeboy and Romo step up their game, because they've been real lazy with it since Romo got paid. So hopefully they step up their game off of this one, because that's the power.
Will they have to step up their game? Sunday's going to belong to CBS. It's going to belong to them.
No. Here's the stepping up a game. The perception of who's the best booth. That's what they're fighting for.
Yep.
That's what they're fighting for. And that's why I'm saying, like, I really do think, like, Troy Aikman was really mad that the other company got
the Dallas San Francisco game.
Yeah, he was really upset about that.
No, you called it. You were on top of it. He was pissed.
I was listening to him on the air, and Buck tried to smooth it over with the laugh, but no, Aikman was and feed. I mean, he gaslit Aikman after it, but that first shot, that was all Aikman, and that was all raw emotion. I'm sure he's looking at this, if we're analyzing this like we analyze football, right? Football teams, he's looking at the situation, right? Like, this team, this place that I came to was a dynasty. Passed the torch from Manning, right?
Right.
That's a dynasty. And Fox was growing and encapsulated everything. Now we come to current events. Disney owns most of Fox outside of Fox Sports and Fox News. So you got a very shrinking empire, a team that is losing players left and right, losing assets left and right. And then they can't come up with the money to outbid CBS for an NFL game. I know Troy Aikman looked at that situation and said, at the very least, I need to go to the team that will have the money to at least outbid. Now, if the NFL swoops in and says, nah, it has to go this way, so be it, or to contract, so be it. But he needs a team. He needs to play for a team that at least is going to spend the money. And these contracts prove that they're going to spend the money.
You use a sports analogy. Aikman did not see Fox no longer as a contender, basically.
No, he did not. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying Aikman because he voiced it. I'm sure Buck was pissed off as all hell. He just knows how to do it better as a broadcaster. But I'm sure he was pissed off as all hell too. I'm sure. It'd be interesting how this affects his baseball stuff.
Yeah.
If at all. I mean, it won't affect him.
No.
I'm just wondering how because don't they do the World Series?
Yeah,
am I wrong on that?
World Series. Yeah, Fox. FS1,
okay, yeah,
that they do.
I mean, like, it'll just be interesting. I mean, he loves baseball. That's his jam. Nothing will change on his part, I'm sure. It'll just be interesting to see, does Fox hold a grudge on this one?
Right.
Be interesting.
Yep. Yeah, but the big winners, Aikman, Buck, and the Monday night booth in general. Like it's
5 years, $90 million, $575 million. those numbers weren't imaginable to them a couple years ago.
No. Yeah,
What?
they should thank Tony Romo's agent.
Aikman's been retired for how long? He just signed a 5-year, $90 million guaranteed
deal.
deal.
He never made exactly.
Come
Those
on
numbers
now.
dwarf his pay, what he made as a pro.
Now you can't win, man.
Yeah.
The champagne bottles that are being popped, the Bucket Aikman household. My goodness.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he never he never made near that amount of money in professional football.
This is when.
He listen. I mean, like I said, Romo drove the market up, so he deserves a lot of credit too, because he's driven that market in terms of this is what a top.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know, homie. I mean, look, they paid him an ungodly amount of money that nobody was even dreaming of. So I want to say CBS redefined that market.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember, and maybe I'm wrong with this, and I definitely don't think I am. I don't remember there being a bidding war for Romo that was escalating that price to that level. That was never reported.
No.
So, yeah. I mean, like, yes, Romo being different from them is what got Romo paid. Now, that they should absolutely thank Romo for. That he brought a different energy that got him being paid, but I still don't understand what CBS was doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was as good as Romo is, and Romo's very good. Yeah, it was a clear overpay. Nobody at that time was coming close to that amount of money.
Ril, say the numbers of his contract out loud. Please.
10 years, basically $80 million.
Now, here's what I would love for you to do. Look at the average broadcaster's contract in the year before that. Right? Like, well, I'll look it up as we continue to talk this conversation. But yeah, how about this? Guaranteed is nowhere close to 100. What'd you say? $140 million? 180 million. Guaranteed there were no, and damn sure there were no 10-year contracts. Like, all of that is like insane. None of that. Like, that's like surreal. Let's we want you to be a teacher at the school, so we're going to pay you $70 million. Like, what? Like, what? Then you skipped a whole bunch of steps, and now we're at $70 million. And hell yeah, everybody else who thinks they're better than you or as good as you is going to be asking for that type of money from that point on. Absolutely. So yes, Romo being different and good at being different from them put him at high value dollars. CBS put that into outer space for some reason. Still unclear to me, but for some reason.
Oh, this is a nice segue. So, a little potpourri here. Before we get to little potpourri here, something in terms of pop culture. But before we get to that, I have a couple of questions for you. How powerful is the media in 2022?
What do we define as media?
And I guess in terms of like the idea of the how, I guess let's base it off
I can't answer this question. I can't answer it now. I can't answer.
No, hold on.
The
let's
traditional
base it off how athletes are react to what's been said about them, about narratives and what have you.
Well, here's what I'll say. The traditional sports side, so I can't answer that, and I'll answer that question within my response. The traditional sports media like ESPN holds no sway anymore. None of that holds sway. What holds sway is social media, is public opinion, how that is being navigated. I know social media is a broad term. I'm older and I do not care to dive into the individual parts of it. It's lost to me and I don't want to. And so I know there's way more intricacies within that dynamic, but if you define the media as you said, in terms of just opinion of who you are as a player, as a person, as everything, then it holds massive sway. But in terms of like ESPN, Fox Sports, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, Stephen, however you want to break, they hold no sway at all. Zero. When athletes and the public could communicate directly and they could start shaping and interacting with their narratives, that there's no need for the middleman. That's the tough reality of the situation.
Yeah, because
or no might be a little bit harsh. I'll go very little. I'll give them some credit, sure.
So to your point, there used to be a time.
Oh my God.
I've heard him say this. Mike Francesa, obviously legendary radio talk show host, he did the NFL Today, worked on the NFL Today with Brent Musburger and that legendary team, and he said that there was a time that they could hold a story for an entire week.
Yeah.
Like they would hold, like they could literally hold a news breaking story for an entire week without it breaking. That's not happening, of course, in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible.
Yeah. Them days long gone. Oh, and that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, you're talking the 80s, so
Yeah, I know that. I mean, it's just hilarious. Like, try holding a story for 5 hours now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But
a week. That's yep. Those are ancient times. Those were.
I think, to your point, I don't think the media I don't think the media is very powerful. In regards to, I think players the players have, like, the ultimate chess move was, so to speak, if you want to call it that, was social media, and even with what we're doing right now in terms of podcasting. Like, if I'm a player, like, yeah, you could put out a narrative about me, but I can immediately retort with my own podcast, my own YouTube, and like you said, that direct to consumer interaction. So that's kind of like, that to me has been kind of like a, kind of really taking some of the power, if not most of the power that the media had, basically away. With having those being, big guys being able to have their own platforms and what have you. Now, again, there are always going to be some reporters and what have you that will live in these athletes' heads in regards to what they say about them or write about them. That's just all in the game. But that's not power. That's just, a guy getting pissed off about, Russell Westbrook, things of that nature.
Yep.
And I think the counter to that, as far as what the media is trying to do, is, so you'll see, like, a Skip Bayless or Stephen A. just try to dial it up to like 10,000 to try to generate. They went on the attack, as far as it was a time as a media member, you were not trying to be the story. So you now in 2022, you have guys that they're trying to be the story instead of just telling the story or reporting the story. They're trying to actually be a part of the story.
The whole idea of a hot take offends me personally, as somebody who loves traditional media, journalism, because it is literally, I'm going to say, the most outrageous thing so that I'm noticed. That's right. How I'm going to do it. It has nothing to do with what I'm reporting. It's how many outrageous things I can say. I've heard Stephen A. And I don't listen to him on a regular basis. So I've heard Stephen A. say that he doesn't even remember what he said yesterday half the time. Because he's just coming up with take after take after take after take after take. And so what his take was on this thing, and that's also a part of it that offends me, is that I don't have to be consistent in my argument anymore. I don't have to understand reality. In fact, I'm being harsh. But I don't have to be consistent in my argument anymore, because it's all about the moment and the now, and that's just not accurate. It's lazy.
Shifting to some movie history here. So there were two premieres that came out with The Godfather. This marks the 50th anniversary of when The Godfather came out. They had a premiere on March 14th, and they had one on the 24th. I think the 24th was the one where it came out nationwide. Basically, I mean, it's 50 years old. I thought about this when it came up that this was the 50th anniversary because you are, like myself, it's just kind of like a mafia movie,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
aficionado in terms of watching it and being into it. Um, what are your thoughts on the legacy of The Godfather 50
I,
years later?
I'll tell you this much. I saw like I was standing in the grocery store line. I looked over to the right, and there was a magazine, a Time magazine that was completely relegated to, or was completely about the legacy of the Godfather, and it was $14, and I bought it instantly.
Yep.
It's a dominant movie. It's just a dominant movie. It's a dominant movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It checks every box. It's a phenomenon. It's pop culture. All the the things that they're talking about, all the themes resonate over time. Everything. It's all the things. It's all things. It's just a dominant movie. It's just a dominant movie. And so when I look at that movie, I mean, it's just like it is just simple. It's if you bear with me for a second to be just a little bit personal. It's the movie that every single time I see my mother, she's like, we have to watch The Godfather. So it's just like it's one of those things, no matter how many times you see it, no matter or here's what I say. It's a movie where no matter what, I mean, we've all seen it a lot of times. No matter when it's on, you stop and you just watch the whole thing.
Yep.
No matter like it'd be on, like I have a hard fast rule that if I own it, I don't want to watch it on anything else other than the thing that I own because I buy the version that I want to watch. The Godfather is exempt from that. I could be flipping when I had cable flipping through and The Godfather's on, I'm gonna stop. And then inevitably I'm going to watch to the end. If I'm just going to watch to the end. It's just inevitable. And so it's a movie that has been in my life for my entire life because it's my mother's favorite movie. And has absolutely become, I mean, man, if it's not my favorite, it's top three. I would really have to think about it, but if it's not my favorite, it's top three. And we'll just continue to go on in not only my family, but in this landscape of cinema for forever. Forever. It's a classic. It's timeless. You can't give this movie enough flowers. You really can't.
No, no. So
It's
to your
all
point, every time it comes on, and I own it on DVD, of course, but every time it comes on television, I don't care if it's regular cable or even AMC, something like that. Like, yeah, I have to watch it. Like, and no matter where it's at in the film either. To be honest with you, I guess it was the first movie that I watched that I thought that made me think about more than just acting and storyline. Like, you look at The Godfather, I'm looking at the like the music, the cinematography. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it covers, like, to your point, it covers everything, lighting, whatever part, like, it covers all of it. Is done at a level that very few movies have ever been done at. So that, to me, where it stood out to me from that standpoint. And you're talking about, a cast that, I mean, Marlon Brando is considered, it, like, possibly the greatest actor ever. Uh, Up there, certainly in that conversation. You got Al Pacino. You know what I'm saying? You see a young Al Pacino, um, one of the greats, again, one of the greatest actors ever. And then you just see this cast of just like the casting was just perfect. It was like a perfectly cast movie. Like everybody, Fredo and the Vito's men. I can't even think of his man, his guys that he grew up with, Clemenza and the other dude.
That Clemenza.
Yeah, Fat Clemenza and the other guy that came along with every like Abe Vigoda played. Um, it like yeah, no, it's a movie that just like I said, in my opinion, it's my personal opinion that it is the greatest movie of all time. Um, a lot of people, there are a few people that try to argue that The Godfather 2 is better. I disagree with that. I love parts. I think Godfather 2 is the greatest sequel, in my opinion, but I can't put two over one. Um, but the first one is just like I said, like to your point, that idea of family, and then the idea of just how business, like there are corporations that even to this day that use methods, minus we're not of course talking about killing, but in terms of business methods that the Godfather takes from the Godfather. So that like, yeah, things of that nature. So, it is again, it's amazing. It's been 50 years, but those are movies. Like I said, that's a movie that's just like just an artistic masterpiece. It goes like, we talk about music with like Illmatic and stuff. There are pieces of art that go beyond music and beyond film. Like they're just like from that standpoint. The Godfather is certainly on that at that place. Real or not, the Super Bowl champion coming out the AFC West.
Okay, Real, I have been very patient. I cannot answer this question without.
Yeah,
I've been very patient. Now you're testing me. I'm not. No, I'm not doing. I can't. I know I can no longer hold it in on this one. Okay, so the reason I decided was Von Miller has signed with the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
I'm about to get real cocky right now. Because we're gonna smash whoever the hell comes out the West. So that's how I feel right now in this moment. Now, looking at this question, I just had to state that. Now, looking at this question, it is going to be tremendously challenging for the team to come out of this division to be the ultimate Super Bowl champion, because I believe these teams will start to cannibalize themselves, meaning that division is arming up in a football sense, meaning they're signing very, very talented players at such a rapid clip, because Denver escalated this to such a situation that they are just building teams to destroy each other. And so Kansas City's, how about this for a hot take right now? Ain't no way Kansas City's in the Super Bowl next year. All these teams are constructing themselves in their division to destroy them. So Kansas City,
So to give everybody a rundown of the players that have made their way to the division, either through trade or free agency. So Russell Wilson, of course, Randy Gregory to Denver. You have Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. Chandler Jones just signed with the Raiders this afternoon. So
it's real. We weren't talking about 4-12 teams before.
No.
3-13, whatever the record is, 17 games. You know what I'm trying to say before.
Right.
These are good players going to good teams.
Yes.
The only team in that division that didn't make the playoffs was San Diego, and that's because the Raiders knocked them out, right? Like they're going to fight each other. So, and the other teams, here's what I'll say. There is not a path, right, for all 4 teams out of the AFC West to come out of the West, right? Like there's not a path to
No.
that. That's not even realistic, right? So then you start talking about 3. Okay. And so what you need in the other divisions is for the other divisions, just for the other AFC divisions, the top team to be the only team. Right. And it just doesn't play itself out that way across the AFC. And so 2 out of the 4 are going to go make it into the playoffs at there. And whichever 2 out of these 4 that come in, there's an argument that they'll be forged out of steel. But I also, because it's so chaotic and it's all just coming together, it's going to take so long. It's going to take a second for all these teams to get their footing. That to me leans more towards they're just going to beat the hell out of each other more so than somebody will rise above this. Now, next year, we're going to be having a different story, a different conversation. But as of coming into this year, I think they cannibalize each other and not one come out of the AFC West because the Bills are winning the Super Bowl. I said it. I did. It came out of my mouth. Finally, it came out of my mouth. This was the sign I was waiting for. This was it. This is the one. This is the one. We're adding Von Miller to our number 1 defense. This is it.
No, that's
the only thing, and I can't say that's the only thing we were for real lacking. I looked on defense. I was like, I need somebody to make a play, and there was nobody that could just make a play. That's it. That's all we need is somebody on defense who can just make a play.
Is it Super Bowl?
Bobby Wagner was my number 1 goal on defense. He's now icing on the cake. I never saw Bobby.
Is it Super Bowl or bust for Brandon Staley? Does he have to go to the Super Bowl?
Who?
The Charger coach.
No, not Super Bowl, Real. That's too much.
I mean, at least get there.
Playoffs definitely. That division's too hard. You can't put that up. Like that division's psychotic. Like Real, we've never seen anything. We got to come to grips with this. We've never seen anything like this. It's too hard. There's no way. That's not fair. Unless you just want to fire him.
Listen, I'm sure Rick Carlisle didn't think it was fair when he made it to the conference championship and got fired for Larry Brown. I don't think he thought that was fair.
No.
If you have somebody looming,
these circumstances don't make sense. You can't.
You have that Sean Payton looming.
No, I do. And so, like I'm saying, if they do it, they just wanted to fire. It's just that simple. This doesn't have anything to win the Super Bowl or not win the Super Bowl. It is unrealistic to put those expectations. San Diego, how about this? San Diego, and I'm saying it with my chest, will not win a Super Bowl this year. That's not a thing.
No.
So they just want to fire him. They just want Sean Payton. And that's fine. I have no problem with that, but it has nothing to do with they didn't win a Super Bowl. Because there ain't no way they win the Super Bowl.
No. But
here's what. How about this? I'll tie this to the previous topic with Monday Night Football. We will be seeing a lot of the AFC West on Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah,
Guarantee you that.
Yeah,
we will see a lot of AFC West games, but we will be there for all of these battles, and they will be absolute battles. I cannot wait. But you asked in the question, Super Bowl champion come out of the AFC West. I'm going not real.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC is loaded, period. Like, we know the West is the best division, but the AFC, I mean, Baltimore just signed Darius Smith.
We're not doing this.
And safety out of New Orleans.
It's ridiculous.
The AFC is loaded in general. I mean, you guys are loaded, just signing Von Miller. You know what the Bengals are. Bengals are upgrading their offensive line. So, yeah, I mean, the AFC is just a gauntlet. Like, you're better off not being like a lot of times we know it comes down to obviously talent, but a lot of the teams that the fresher team, the mentally. That's the thing about when I think about the AFC West. Like, yeah, staying healthy is important, but the mental toll that it's going to take to come out that division Like, what are you going to have left after 18 weeks coming out that division going to the playoffs? Because every game is a big game in that division. There's no cupcakes. There's no every
No,
game.
there's no soft landings.
None.
There's no soft landings.
Road or home. Every game is a big game. Want to get your thoughts on the week that was in the NBA from a standpoint of as we head towards the stretch run. Well, a couple of things. Let's go with it. Let's talk about the Sixers because I've been glued to the Sixers ever since Harden got traded. I've watched them. Now they are 6-2 since they got Harden, but 3 or 4 of those wins have come against the Knicks twice, Orlando. The net game was very telling because that was just like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving basically sending a message to James Harden, like, yeah, we got something for you. We see you in the playoffs. And then Harden does his normal, mentally just check out and not show up for a big game. And I've seen, and even in the Denver game where Joel Embiid, outplays Jokic, but Denver still wins that game. Harden in that game in the fourth quarter was bad. This thing has a possibility to blow up even before next year even occurs. Like the East is rough. Like there's a matchup. There's a possibility that the Sixers could not even get out the first round. That's a real that's a real possibility. It's not. I doubt it will happen, depending on as long as they don't say if they don't play, as long as they don't play somebody like the Nets. But this thing is not looking. This is I just the energy of it for the first 5-6 games, and you got teams. Kevin Durant comes out and says after the game, like, we just want to run them. So teams are already coming up with strategies in terms of how to attack them and feel comfortable with saying that. Very interesting with the Sixers to do these first few games. What are your thoughts on that?
All this remains consistent, real. It's fine for right now. It's fine for right now. It really is. The bumps will come. You're right. The bumps is going to come in the playoffs because that's when Harden shrinks. The Nets is the only matchup that will knock the Sixers out in the first round. They're not losing the first round. We're not going to do that. They're too good for everybody. In the rest of that they would meet in the first round. The second round will be where all the action will happen. This story is so easy to call. It's not even challenging. We know exactly who Harden is, what Harden will do. It will end horribly because it always ends horribly, and that is the ultimate conclusion of it. We're just here to tell the story of it ending horribly. To narrate this whole thing. I want to go to the Nets. You've been fascinated with the Sixers. I've been fascinated with the Nets. Fascinated, right? Absolutely fascinated. And so, but the same thing proves true for them. Those are two singular talents. Harden's another singular talent. All these really talented people, Joel Embiid, singular talent, semi-singular talents, all this stuff. But here's the thing that everybody keeps forgetting for some reason. This is a team sport. We're playing a team sport. So Harden can do Harden things. Kyrie can do Kyrie things. Durant and Embiid are just kind of around for these rides. Simmons can do Simmons things. And none of that will equate to winning a championship. So what are we even talking about here with these two teams? If we're not talking about that, then we're talking about the drama that's going to come. Drama's coming for both of them. It is assured as rain will eventually fall from the sky. It's going to happen. My prediction still has not waned. The real drama for Harden and the Sixers will come the first time he shrinks in the playoffs, not a regular season game. It just isn't enough pressure to make make anybody nervous at that point in time. The real will meet it will meet the road. The rubber will meet the road when in the playoffs he fails again, second round or above, and then the narratives will really start to fly. Just like everybody's had to chill on Ben Simmons being because he just hasn't played still yet. So all the hopefulness is really starting to die down. So nobody has changed their character out of any of this. They've just moved locations. So same people, same results. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
So we've seen the last, I would say, 10 days, and really the month of March, we've seen a number of just sterling individual performances. You saw, Kyrie dropped 60 last night.
That's crazy. That was legit crazy to watch.
Karl Anthony Towns had a 60 and 17 game this past week. Tatum's had a couple of 50-point games. One is particularly against Brooklyn. Last week, Durant had a 50-point game, 53-point game against the Knicks. I'm leaving one out. Somebody else had dropped 50.
LeBron dropped 50. Why are you leaving LeBron?
LeBron, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I'm trying to block. LeBron's had 2 50-point games. I tried to block the Lakers out of my mind, but yes.
I know you did, but I wasn't going to let you.
Of course not. Of course not. No, I mean, that's the only time we win now is when LeBron drops 50. He has to drop. He has to drop 50 in order for the win.
He does have to drop.
What are your thoughts on these individual performances, in particular in the month of March?
I saw the March. My thing is like, what do we want? Cookies now? Great players put up great numbers. Isn't that what they're supposed to do? So I, of course, enjoy watching it. That's kind of the point. And that's kind of been the point the whole time. So good. I am excited to see it. I do not, or at least right now, I don't understand the correlation of March. It doesn't, I don't know what that means. I don't think it means anything, to be honest with you, Ril. But if it does, it's not, I don't know what it is. But I'm glad great players are having great games. I wish that was the norm. More the norm.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows to me, and like to your point, yeah, great players are just playing great. But I think to me, it shows how much depth is in the league as far as the talent pool. Like there's so many talented players, even on some of the bad teams. Like, Detroit's horrible, but Cade Cunningham has played great though in the last month, since he's gotten healthy in last month and a half. Yeah, I mean, you got like I think that it's gonna make it harder to win. Because of how much depth. I mean, because of how much the depth of talent. Like, I don't think you're gonna see moving forward like one team just like I don't think you're gonna see a Golden State situation. I don't.
No.
I just don't.
Oh, that was not fun. That was not fair.
No, it wasn't.
No, please don't ever let that happen.
Like the league is deep. Like and this is without like we're missing players like Jamal Murray's an all-star caliber player. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are all-stars. So it's not like you got guys that
it's like what you're saying it's so good that the big three era is over because it disperses more talent.
Yeah. So I can't wait. I can't wait to the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference. We get the sense of where the West is going. I mean, you can't I'm not a believer in Dallas. I'm not a believer in Utah. It's Phoenix. It's Phoenix and Golden State. That's the Western Conference. Like let's just cut through everything. It's Phoenix and Golden State. But the East is going to be a bloodbath. Like even at the bottom, you got even those teams like Boston and Toronto will be tough outs. How hard they play and how good they are defensively. But the amount of talent that's in this league in terms of the depth of the amount of talent that's in this league across the board is really is at a high level. I think I think people might get annoyed by players, like rightfully so, players like Harden asking out and some things of that nature. But the skill set is undeniable of a lot of these guys. This is all you cannot is ridiculous. The skill set of some of these players in 2022.
Agreed.
So definitely looking forward towards the playoffs as we head towards the stretch run here. I have one thing that they need to do with the play-in. We don't need this would be the perfect play-in. So to me, in my opinion, let the 7th seed in. Like if you finish top 7, you should be automatically in the playoffs. You shouldn't have to be in the play-in as a 7th seed. Have no 10th seed, okay, no 10th seed, and have a winner take all for the 8th and 9th seed for a winner take all. What do you think about that?
I like it.
So
I like it. I think there's lots of tweaking to be done. So I think yes.
I'm rewarding a top 17. Like I'm rewarding them for what they've done in the regular season, and I'm eliminating a bad team possibly getting in with a 10th seed.
Whatever keeps teams playing hard for the longest, I am for. I hate tanking. You know this. I hate it. I hate it. It's stupid. It's the worst thing ever. So whatever keeps teams playing hard for long periods of time, I'm for. And I agree with you. Rewarding the team that plays the hardest the longest, even if they're the 7th seed, is perfect. And then I also agree, of course, letting bad teams in the playoffs is not good. That's not a good thing. So yes, that checks a lot of the boxes for me. So I like it.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this moving forward, because I just don't like this, like the fucking like the Lakers are my team. I don't want to see the Lakers in the playoffs. I mean, come on, like I just don't like what the like Lakers are 9th, 10th seed. Like you have the Lakers are like 11 games under 500. You got the Pelicans are like 13 games under 500. Like what are we talking about here? I don't see either one of those teams in the playoffs.
Agree.
So, but we'll see what Adam Silver does moving forward in terms of that. I got a feeling they're going to tweak that somewhat after this year. I just can't. I don't think. I hope they tweak it. Maybe they won't, but I just don't think it's necessary to have like 10 spots. I just think one of those teams you could just dismiss. To be honest with you, at the bottom. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Ril Dil podcast. As always, thanks to Robert Sapp, an excited Robert Sapp, as he got an early Christmas gift. Von Miller to the Buffalo Bills. So he can get over losing JD McKissack, who decided to come back with us.
Yeah, somehow, somewhere I'll get over that. Somehow.
Oh boy, I think JD must have liked that mambo sauce. I don't know. Like I saw it out. Like sure, it was good. He's like decent player, whatever. But
also, why is the next article I read about your Commanders doing some crazy stuff? I thought an agent accusing y'all of lying. I was like, I can't with this team.
Yeah,
y'all can't help yourselves.
No.
Just can't help yourselves. Can you have one positive thing happen? Just one? Just one.
No.
No. I can't even enter free agency correctly. Like, come on, get together.
Oh, speaking of it, before I let
Our
you go, speaking of
professional
this,
football team, get it together.
yeah, that's never gonna happen. There was one last free agent thing that I wanted. I just it just popped up in my head. So there's a rumor about that Atlanta would sign Deshaun Watson and then trade Matt Ryan to Indianapolis. That was like
I,
I heard
I,
that.
that the Sean Watson noise is at a deafening level. You are correct. This one I might have to eat some humble pie on, and I'm fine with it. But it's at a deafening level. So yeah, I heard that one too. I've heard a lot of them. I heard that one too. Yep.
Be a good look for Matt. Be a good look for Matt Ryan on Indianapolis.
The one that I heard that I liked was Deshaun Watson traded to or goes to, let's take all the different factors out because I can't do that mentally right now. But Deshaun Watson goes to was it no, it wasn't New Orleans. Um
Carolina.
no, it wasn't Carolina either. Anyways, it doesn't matter because here's what I liked about the other moves that come off it. Jimmy Garoppolo is in not Tennessee. Well, I'm blanking on all of it. Anyways, Deshaun Watson noise is getting loud. Let me answer just your questions that try to remember all these different things I heard. The that Deshaun Watson in Atlanta, when I heard that first, I said, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. That's an environment that would be welcoming of Deshaun. Way more than the other one that we were talking about or somebody was mentioning to me. So in terms of environment, I like it because this next year for him is just going to be, whenever he plays again, it's just going to be about rehabilitating his image.
Right.
It's not going to be about how many games he wins.
No.
So it's more important that if he's leaving Houston, he goes to the best situation for him. And that won't be necessarily being in primetime limelight immediately. So I would caution him against going to any big market teams. Oh, I know what I like. It was Garoppolo going to the Steelers.
Yes, I heard that.
That's what I liked. And then it was somebody going to the Colts that I liked as well. Russell Wilson. No, not Russell Wilson. Because it was Russell Wilson, Denver, and then the Colts traded Carson Wentz to Philly. So, who are the free agent quarterbacks that are out there? I like Garoppolo going to the Steelers. And then the Steelers, because Steelers just did Trubisky. Maybe it was like Garoppolo going to I know what it was. I like the idea of Garoppolo going to Indianapolis. I like that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think that's a good situation for him.
No, that would be perfect. That's a perfect situation for him with the running game and defense. So yeah.
Yeah, but I like when it was initially proposed, when I initially read it, I liked Deshaun Watson going to Atlanta. That situation makes sense to me.
Yeah.
If he's leaving Houston, that's a good place for him to go.
So we will see what happens. As always, thanks to Robert Sapp for joining the program.
All right, sir. Appreciate you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. We'll talk later. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Ril Dil podcast. Of course, tomorrow I will be doing my season 5, episode 5 of Snowfall. This episode tomorrow, that episode tonight is supposed to be fire tonight. Like, this is supposed to be a real big time episode. We'll be halfway through the season, so certainly we'll have a lot to chew on tomorrow when I do that episode. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. This podcast will be up later on this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. So long.